Oh yeah, this'll make a great start to a Lifetime movie.
In 1997, Mary Kay Letourneau was tried and convicted of child rape after she became pregnant with the love child of her then 12-year-old student. The case became a national scandal and obsession, one which continues to this day. Sadly, this wasn't the only time a damaged older woman took advantage of a naive young ward and broke the bonds of trust that hold together the American education system. But in 2008, Lifetime was there to shine a spotlight on the issue and dig down to its true root cause. Used car salesman.
See, it all started with Bosnia. That's where Jeremy Rander's father was killed in action, leading to his adoption by his operatically shady uncle, a used car salesman who is also a con man who may or may not be in league with La Cosa Nostra, aka the mob, in some kind of reselling scam that might involve some guy named Miguel, who also might have a peg leg, though this is never confirmed visually in the film, whose primary scheme, the uncle's not Miguel's, is to book the Ryan family out of $500,000, which he can then use to take his car dealership independent, but only after blackmailing a teacher for sexual harassment using his nephew as an accomplice.
Is that all there is to it? I didn't think you could spread a plot that thin over 90 minutes.
Well, there's also a charming subplot about a perverted Ron Howard lookalike trying to secure a convertible for himself.
Do you mean Clint Howard?
You'll just have to wait and see. Our movie begins 24 hours before some indeterminate point of time in the middle of the film.
Yes, it begins with a shadowy, mysterious figure. Breaking and entering, espionage, intrigue. My God, Eric, this almost feels like a movie. For once, I don't feel dead inside.
I don't know. I don't hear any Hans Zimmer soundtrack.
Dean, what are you doing here?
Sorry, I was trying not to wake you up.
Why are you here?
I need my passport.
At 11 o'clock at night?
Sorry, I just wore my crime gloves in case I need to strangle any prostitutes on the way over here.
You know you could hurt someone, Dean, or God forbid you get arrested. What example are you setting for your daughter?
All right, long story short, this Dean guy is insecure since he can't business like her dad can business, so he's taking a vacation from his marriage and shacking up with another woman while she waits diligently at home for him to come to his senses. Moving on.
Yeah, enough of that for now. On to possible mafia things.
We have other lots. They all unload more cars than you do. You could disappear tomorrow and Mr. Collins wouldn't notice. You want the cars or not?
Patrick, do you think this is how used car dealerships are really run? Is there like an entire invisible mafia supplying late 90s cars worth under $1,000 a piece to people in 2008?
Nah.
You don't want to look that up? That's no research on that one?
Nah.
Yeah, okay.
Turns out this shady used car dealer has his hands in more than just the lucrative late 90s Pontiac cookie jar. He's looking to corner the Philadelphia used car market with the almost certain windfall that will come from blackmailing public high school history teachers, our country's most well-paid public servants.
And the disappointment is setting in early in this film because, no, it's not Clint Howard.
I was thinking maybe tomorrow we could head over to the lot and talk to your uncle.
Yeah, maybe.
Think he'll give me a deal on a Honda? Like with rims and everything?
It's sensibly swagtastic.
My dad's finally starting to come around on this whole car thing.
Yeah, he's really starting to consider getting rid of the horse and buggy. After being accosted by the Billy Baldwin of the Hollywood Howard lineage, Jeremy attends his history club meeting at Tankland, Philadelphia's sixth most popular edutainment destination.
Tankland, your one-stop shop for all tank and tank-related banner visitation needs.
My dad died on one of these when I was about 4.
Was he in Bosnia?
Yeah, something like that.
Have somebody get a hold of the armory and find out if this thing is loaded, if he can actually do any damage with it other than killing people by running them over.
No, yeah, okay, so he was actually in Bosnia. By the way, we got curious and we decided to look it up. Apparently, there was only one U.S. combat death in the entire Bosnia mission. So I guess what we're saying is I really hope that the one guy who died out there knows that they made this movie about him. Like maybe that his parents know and got a check for this. You think that happened?
Yeah, I'm sure Lifetime ponied up the cash to pay off this grieving family's misery after having to watch this movie? Sure, yeah, that's something they probably did, right?
Charitable souls over a lifetime. Charitable souls.
Yeah. He was serving in the UN. He died 4 days before he was supposed to come home.
Oh, Jeremy.
Sorry.
Jeremy, I just found this in the gift shop. I thought you might want to learn more about why your dad was there. It's yours. To keep.
Meanwhile, behind locked doors, some intimate fondling means that roguery is surely afoot. But what nefarious deeds is he plotting? Will he cut her brake lines? Plant a bomb in her car? Oh, wait, no, he's just disconnecting her battery.
Well, you know, my uncle owns a car lot, so I know a little bit about engines.
Yeah, he's gonna get under her hood.
Where do you live?
Out on Fox Hill Road.
That's on my way home. Why don't I just give you a ride?
Yeah, she's gonna give him a ride.
Nice, Jeremy. That's it.
Wait, she's just literally giving him a ride home. Why is this guy taking pictures of this? They're just sitting in a car. Does he have some kind of safety fetish? Is he Scottish?
Tomorrow, on Rock Bottom, he's a foreigner who takes perverted videos of you when you least suspect it. He's Rowdy Roddy Peeper.
Now the director decides to roll out the B-roll footage by treating us to the cinematic feast that is two people talking in a car.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm gonna get in.
Hey, why would you say that? Your grades are really good.
I don't know, my uncle thinks college is a scam for people's money.
That's true, I guess.
That's right, dare not to dream. That's why you're a teacher.
Well, thanks for the ride, Mrs. Rhines.
Well, thank you for fixing my car.
All right, well, good night.
Good night. I just feel so bad for him. Watching him today at the museum was almost heartbreaking.
Your mother and I were always glad I got out of the service before you were born.
Oh, yep, I did 2 tours as one of Bob Hope's dancers in Vietnam. Oh, I liked the attention, but I was always worried about breaking my ankle in those go-go boots.
Carrie, I know I've said this before, but it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong.
Thanks, Dad.
You say that, but I still wonder if it was a good idea to reference his micro-penis in our wedding vows. His grandmother seemed so displeased.
He'd stay with anyone who validates his ego right now. As soon as his business started to go downhill, I could see him start to change.
Into a werewolf.
Grandpa, Martha says coffee's not good for your blood pressure.
Marta also says that I'll catch a cold every time I go fishing.
If I needed to know how to stuff a kilo of cocaine on my rectum, then I'll ask Marta for advice. Until then, she can stick to getting paid $6.50 an hour to clean the blood out of my unmentionables. We're so relatable.
Meanwhile, over on the seedy side of comfortable white suburbia, Jeremy's having second thoughts.
And the movie also takes a moment to underscore that, hey, guess what? Bill is an asshole.
Seem more interested in finding out about me.
That must have been a short conversation.
Oh, he's not trying to be rude. He just thinks that all conversations between men and women are inherently short because those are the kinds of conversations you have with prostitutes.
Yeah, and all women have a no-kissing rule.
Alrighty. Time for bed. That's enough. Good girl.
Mom, do I have to spend the night at Shannon's?
Well, that's where your dad is, and he misses you.
Yeah, but I hate sleeping there. Her house stinks like smoke.
She keeps smoking racks of ribs in the house, and now everything smells like mesquite.
Last time I was there, she was so loud, I couldn't even sleep. They were up the whole night drinking wine with Shannon's friends.
They were discussing Kierkegaard versus Heidegger, and they were way off. I think one of them misattributed a Calvin and Hobbes quote to Jean-Paul Sartre.
Back again to the other side of town, Bill Rander displays the kind of understanding of women one would expect from a man whose closest interactions with the fairer sex is done through a pair of binoculars.
You should cry. What? Women are suckers for men who cry. Sometimes if you cry when you're with a woman, they'll let you do anything you want. It's true.
Yeah, that's rule number 12 for pickup artists. Cry like a baby. Women love babies. It's sandwiched between Rule 11, pleading, and Rule 13, paying for it.
Carrie turns for solace to the one place she can always count on it. The teacher's lounge, filled with other actresses who also tried out for the lead role but weren't TV pretty enough to get it.
Of course I want Lacey to be a part of his life, but not under these circumstances.
You mean the drinking?
The drinking, the sleazy company he's been keeping.
Yeah, he's really changed since he quit his job to become a pimp.
Then there's another problem. My bitches.
You saying you can't control your bitches?
What I'm saying is they deserve any area they can control.
Well, I respect your ambition, Willie, but you got to have vision.
He's been completely ignoring his business.
Well, hopefully he'll come to his senses and he'll just move through this phase and he'll come back to you and Lacey.
Really? You think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'll come back once he's tired of having fun. You know, because you're dull and matronly and he can use a living maid. That's supposed to be a compliment.
The important thing is that you don't gain independence, start thinking for yourself, and learn to live your own life without the need for validation from a man. Lifetime television for women.
Emboldened by her friend's advice? Is that it? I mean, does it still count as advice even if it sucks out loud? Anyway, Kara decides to accost the school's counselor to find out if there are any legal ways to force Jeremy into college.
Is there nothing else that we could be doing?
Further along in this very, very long con, Jeremy tries to take his uncle's advice and cry on cue. Unfortunately, his actor is forgetting his Strasbourg and goes full-on not at all method for this. Notice how the Visine stays perfectly still in his face, in exactly the way that real human tears do not.
Alone, Bill celebrates his subterfuge by eating his own phone.
But the weight of the scheme is too much for Jeremy's delicate psyche, and like so many maladjusted teens before him, he snaps.
Dude, if you want to bang the teacher, that is cool. Seriously, I'll give my right arm for 5 minutes alone with that woman.
I said shut your mouth!
Shut your mouth.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Carrie, we have a zero-tolerance policy for fighting at this school. Do I have to remind you that that includes any kind of inappropriate physical contact? Pushing, shoving. Jeremy is very lucky that Pete didn't push back.
I know that. You're right. Just understand that this kid has been under an incredible amount of emotional stress lately.
His Tamagotchi died.
And what if this is a sign of a pattern that's developing?
We might have a serial pusher on our hands, Carrie. Yeah, it's just one kid pushing now, but what if he develops a taste for it? Then we'll be pushing kids left and right. Not on my watch, Carrie. That's it! Turn in your education badge and teaching gun!
Also, Carrie's dad gets murdered.
David McMillan?
Yeah. Hi. Who are you?
A businessman just like you.
Now, what are you doing here? What do you want?
You going fishing?
No, I got all this fishing gear to go skinny dipping, you dumb mother... This is always how that gypsy said I would die.
Please forgive the interruption. Carrie, I need to speak with you for a moment. It's important.
What's going on with Mrs. Ryan's?
There's been a tragedy in her family.
Her father's Tamagotchi died. Also, he fell down some stairs and broke his neck. She has to go identify both at the morgue.
Rattled, Jeremy turns to the military-industrial complex for solace and guidance.
I never wanted any of this to happen. swear. What do I do now, Dad?
Oh, this is a little heavy for me, kid. I mostly just teach people about tanks. You want to learn how treads work? Got these things on the front called skull crushers.
Elsewhere, Bill finally springs his trap.
Sort of. I mean, he literally only has pictures of them hugging.
Oh boy, I'm sure these photos of a woman hugging someone will shatter the delicate sensibilities of Philadelphians.
But at least she does the smart thing and immediately calls the police.
Or she can contact her lawyer, who actively discourages her from talking to the police.
Should I just go to the police? Even if you go to the police, these photos will still be made public. And you know how the media loves to run stories like this.
Unfortunately, Carrie, our country's legal system is borrowed from English common law, so legally, you are now a pedophile. You'll probably be drawn and quartered, though I might be able to talk a judge down to a burning at the stake or perhaps a simple tar and feathering.
But Bill has his own problems, because the Mafia is getting wise to his scheme to cut them out. There's a problem with Bill Randa. Yes. The permanent solution. It will be done, Mr. Toyota-san.
In preparation for Carrie's father's funeral, Jeremy struggles to learn how to tie a noose.
Hey, kid. You want to see a dead body?
Carrie finally gets around to confronting Jeremy about the pictures in front of his uncle. Does this go well?
I can assure you there is nothing going on between us. Someone's just trying to make it look like there is.
Could have fooled me.
No, it doesn't.
He's a wonderful mechanic. The two of you in a park somewhere, away from school, being intimate?
Jeremy was upset. I consoled him.
This one doesn't look like consolation to me.
Seriously, is this Utah? Why is hugging such a big deal to these people?
Jeremy, please, tell your uncle the truth.
Miss Ryans, I don't think you're fit to teach.
Something's going on here.
Get out.
Will you at least look at me?
You sit down. I'm going to talk to you next. Get out of my house.
Jeremy.
Sharon, look, it's one of those perverts I was telling you about. Perverts!
Jeremy confronts Bill and his deep, dark secret is finally revealed.
Do you really think we could have done any of this with her father still alive?
What are you talking about? We planned this months ago.
So?
So we had no idea that our...
He is a serial pusher.
And you can bet that I will tell him that you helped plan the murder.
Now that Carrie has access to her father's millions, guess who comes crawling back?
I'm fine. I'm sure you need to get back to Shannon anyway.
Actually, I don't.
She said I was dead weight and she's going back to nursing school. Now armed with the knowledge that both Jeremy and Bill are in on the scheme, Carrie agrees to meet Jeremy in private without any police assistance. 'Cause she's smart. Thanks for coming.
My uncle and I have been doing these scams since I was a little kid. Insurance claims, little lawsuits that didn't really count.
He mostly used to push me in front of cars for the insurance money. I want to note the brilliant direction of this movie. For example, this entire scene is blocked, so this actor doesn't have to cry, because he can't. So, walk away, face away from the camera, cut back, Visine tears.
I'm so sorry, Mrs. Ryans. I didn't know.
I know you are.
I didn't know until yesterday, I promise.
No, what?
Your father.
What about him?
my uncle. Your father's accident. Was it? I'm sorry.
Oh, guys, this is getting kind of dark for the Tank Museum. Wish you wouldn't talk about death so much. You're bumming out all the military armaments.
So they finally go to the police, and we find out why it took them so long. Because they're unbelievably incompetent.
Well, that's not enough for me to get a search warrant.
What are you saying? That Bill Rander gets away with murdering my father?
I can't get an arrest warrant. And I don't know any judge who's going to let me in the house just yet.
You know what? Hold on a second. So you've got a dead body and a witness telling them that this person admitted to the crime, and a second person who can testify and provide evidence of an additional related crime which can provide motive for the murder, and you can't even get a warrant.
And this would be why Philadelphia is better known for its cheesesteaks than its crime-free streets. Eventually, the police concede to performing a wiretap so long as Jeremy makes the call and coaxes a taped confession out of his uncle.
Yeah, unfortunately, Officer DJ here forgot to plug something into his line out on his Behringer mixer, so this conversation isn't even being recorded.
Thankfully, Bill learns another way that crime doesn't pay, because he's executed by the mob. Again, how this happens to me every time.
6 months later, with Bill dead and her philandering, drunken husband back home, everything is back to normal.
And Jeremy's getting an apartment without a job.
I even found a studio apartment, so I just gotta find a job and I'll be good to go.
So he's telling her that he'll be homeless in a month. Great. And that was A Teacher's Crime. An ironic title since she's one of the few characters in the film that literally did nothing illegal. Patrick, would you recommend this film a used car salesman's convoluted scheme?
Only if you don't mind all the hugging. Eric, would you recommend a used car salesman's convoluted scheme?
I've forgotten it already.
That's right, Evan. Let's see who Miguel sells his cars to now.